Welcome to Relaunch Live Podcast. Relaunch Live Podcast. Talking all things real estate, the strategies that build it, and sharing their own life-changing growth plans. They are two of the most dynamic people in the business with one common goal: to make you rethink, reimagine, and be re-inspired in your life and business. Welcome to the Relaunch Live Podcast with your hosts, Veronica Figueroa and Jeff Lobb.
Hey, welcome back to another episode. Relaunch Live. We're back. I know V's here.
You got it. I'm excited to be back.
So V, yeah, I'm glad to see you. I'm so glad every time we can get together on this stuff. I know our schedules sometimes mix up, but you are here live and I'm excited about it. So let's get the show.
Yeah, and I kind of totally messed up that intro, right? I didn't let you have your moment. I was like nervous. I was like, ah. But go ahead. Why are we here? Why are we here, Jeff? Why are we here?
Hey, this is all about our common theme: rethink, reimagine, re-inspire. We've got amazing people that join us. Besides the stuff that you and I do for a living, it's really all about bringing in the talent of the universe, really helping everyone kind of get a feel and a vibe for what's happening in the world, what's happening in the market, ways to improve, ways to generate their life, reliving their life. So V, why don't you, I know you got a special guest today. I'll let you hand off from here.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to see the talent that's coming on to Relaunch. And as this, podcast, I think we're on episode number 13 now.
13.
And the talent just continues to come in, the diversity of talent that's really, I would say, inspiring the way we think about real estate. And this is, this guest is equally as special, as talented as all the other guests that we've had and will continue to have. Someone that I've had the opportunity of getting to know, of partnering with, in some ventures, and hopefully we can get, spread his mission as to what he's looking to do in the real estate space. Duamel Vellon, someone that, has, I would say, taken the real estate industry by storm by the choices that he's made. And, we're going to switch it up today. We're not just going to talk about residential real estate. We're going to talk about other opportunities that you have in this space that so many people are afraid to learn about because of lack of maybe knowledge and mentorship and awareness. So Duamel, I'm not going to take away too much of your time to shine. I want people to hear from you organically, what your mission is, what your story, former executive for Disney, and then you up and quit your full-time career job to pursue real estate. And I think your story is super inspiring. So I'm excited for the world of Relaunch Live and the people who tune in to hear from you. So, man, welcome. Thanks so much. I know you're going to bring value, and let's start off with this. Who are you? And tell us a little bit about why you decided to get into real estate, and then let's dive deep into that mission that you have to see if we can help you accomplish that.
Let's do it. Excuse me. As you guys were going into the intro, I was fighting the urge to jump in too. I was like, yeah, let's just let's just chop it up, man. Yeah. I really love that intro. That was a really dope ass intro. So props. Whoever did that was pretty dope. I love to rethink, reimagine, be re-inspired. I feel like that's the mission I'm on as well. And Vero, I don't do anything equally. So I'm gonna take it up a notch and a few notches.
Yes.
Do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So
I've had
tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, my life, I believe, has been a series of just crazy coincidences. Even the downs. Sometimes we have to hit rock bottom. I don't wish rock bottom on anybody, but sometimes you hit that rock bottom, and then it takes that to wake up. I've had so many angels in my life to give me guidance, to give me illumination. To basically get me back on track, and life has been a wonderful, wonderful journey for me. I'm loving it. I'm just a regular guy from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico en la casa. And
what's up?
That's it. Electrical engineering background. That's what I did. That was my career. I'm a professional engineer by trade. And like Vero said, I was in the theme park developments for 18 years. So for 18 years, I was building all these awesome attractions that you all enjoy. In the last 18 years, if you've been to one of these theme parks, chances are you've written something that I was a part of, which is an awesome legacy.
Are we talking like the Disney parks? We're talking like the Florida parks?
Oh man, you weren't supposed to drop names, bro.
That's all right.
They're not sponsoring. They're not sponsoring yet.
That's all right. Okay.
Right.
Hey, it's not like
right.
secret. Yeah, it's all right though. I knew you were holding back on that, but I just want to make sure, like, from some perspective, this isn't like your little, side community parks. You're building some big stuff.
No, that's funny you say that, but yeah, that's exactly it, man. Disney attractions, whole rides, lands. It was a big part in a lot of that. It was a fun journey.
Yeah.
But for me, I've always had a real estate itch. My grandparents had properties growing up in Puerto Rico. And so for me, it was kind of natural, seeing it around the family. And I always thought, man, abuela and abuelo have money. They're rich, they're wealthy, as a kid, you just think your grandparents, seeing them being able to splurge on you is really cool. And then the seed was planted is that they were doing this through real estate. Fast forward some years, I go into college. In college, I'm still trying to figure out how to crack the real estate game. So then after college, I start saving a little bit of cash and start getting into the flips. So we started flipping homes. My wife, Lupita, she and I started flipping homes, started wholesaling. We started doing that whole hustle.
Yeah.
We did short sales, loss mitigation. So we're not going to say we. She was on the phones with the banks, negotiating the deals. And then that's how we would get our own deals. And, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing that we have always done things unconventional. So we couldn't figure out exactly how to do flips. So we started creating them by doing the short sales to ourselves. And then we would do the renovations and flip it out. And so that's how we got started with the flips. But
now did you have any mentorship coming up in that, or is that what you just self-learned? Did you just get trial by fire?
Self-learned, man. And this is where I want everyone here to rethink and reimagine, because
here we go.
Yeah, well, for me, my perspective, okay, guys, full disclosure, my perspective, but I feel like, at least for me, right, the residential real estate space was hyper competitive, where it was dog eat dog, and it wasn't really collaborative. And whenever you found a mentor or somebody that might want to take you along his wings, they weren't going to give you all the secret sauce, because they wanted those deals, and so so I struggled with that mentality. So then it's like, well, screw it, if everybody's for themselves, then I'm going to be all about me, and it's for me and my family, right, in my team. And so I think, I don't want to go into the next thing, but when I found commercial real estate, I realized it's a whole different atmosphere in this investment space. And I don't want to segue too hard into that, because I think there's a couple of very important aha moments that have to do with mindset of how we shift from how we rethink and reimagine. You have to be willing to shift your mindset.
I love it. Take us there. What was that? So you did experience the whole flipping game. I guess what everybody sees, what's the HGTV, the easy button, or easier to follow, which is the trends, right, of what other people are doing. And it's the, one deal at a time, right? It's like the grind and the hustle and the energy that goes into that. It's hard. It's everybody's chasing the same, I would say, target. And then while everyone else is zigging, you decided to zag. You were like, wait. Let me check it out over here. Right. And you even said it's less emotional, man. It's less emotional. It's numbers. And with you having an engineer background, I'm assuming, if it makes sense, if it makes dollars, then we're willing to look at it, right? But there was a lot of emotion in the real estate side, and most real estate agents, they're trying to sell a house to a client, and then they're trying to scoop up a flip here and there, and they're trying to chase the dollar. And you said, wait, there's a business over here, a predictable business that can be built. There's less emotion. There are resources, and there's this ability to work together to build wealth. and you had that moment that was presented to you, and is that where the aha moment came, where you're like, wait, there's got to be a better way?
But it took a little journey to get there. On our very last flip that we were doing, our theme park that will soon sponsor this space,
I love that.
was building a massive expansion at one of their parks, and I was an important piece of that. So I was flying to California a lot for a lot of front end meetings, all the design, budgeting, in the middle of our biggest flip. So as I was spending 2 or 3 weeks at a time in California, I was calling the contractors, during my breaks or whatnot, and they weren't at the property because we were like halfway through. If you guys know flips, everybody's all happy and gung ho in the front end, and then towards the middle, the contractors start getting bored and looking for the next project.
Yeah.
So imagine having that exact moment while you're away, right? And for me, it was I was hitting the epitome of every stress point. I was every moment I was not at my W-2, I was spending at that house. I was meeting the contractors at 6 because I needed to be at my office at 7:30. So I was like, man, you guys got to be here. So if you force a contractor to get there at 6, that dude's leaving at noon. Yeah. So it was painful. But dude, I quit real estate that day. And when we sold for a fat check because they're fat checks. But I'm like, I don't want another W-2. I quit real estate, and I said I'm going all in on engineering and construction, and I did that for about 2 years. That's when I got my PE license, and I went all in. But it wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't scratching that real estate itch. Like I just had that bug. I had that real estate bug, and that's when.
All right, so that was the moment that you're like, this is the last check. Like what next? 2 years of just now doing what was not fulfilling, but it wasn't as draining. And how did you come across this opportunity to learn about the I would say multifamily space opportunity? I know that Bigger Pockets played a big role in this for you, and a couple other mentors that came along, but take us there, because the people who are listening and they want to know what that journey was for you to then start. Now you own over 147 doors, or probably more now, right? You've got
we're over 200. Just closed this morning on 56 units in Georgia, and we have
love it.
Very lucky. We have 5 deals right now under contract, and several more in the pipeline. We're doing really good. We're hitting on all cylinders right now. All off market.
And what will those?
Off market.
Wow.
All off-market property. So for any of you guys who were kind of like on the edge of your seat, waiting to see where's this going, like what is his secret superpower here? You're hearing it. You're now getting a sneak peek of it. You got 5 under contract. How many properties, how many doors will that equal when, let's say, all 5 of those properties that are pending together with your current portfolio, will that end up being?
We'll be close to 500, 600 doors. But thank you. You mentioned this word that I think is really, really important. And a friend of mine, Jose Luis, wrote a book, and he talks about the 12 laws, the 12 laws that helped him become successful. And one of them was, what is your superpower? You mentioned the word superpower. It's funny because I was thinking about that book today. See what I'm talking about, Jeff? Like for me, I feel like there's coincidence after coincidence after coincidence.
Right. It's not magic.
I randomly was thinking about that book this morning. I'm looking for it, but I'll pull it up later. I literally was thinking about that book this morning. I'm like, I want to go back to that exact chapter. And you mentioned that word. Yep. For me specifically, it's taking massive action. And I'm in Puerto Rico, decimos anormal. I'm not normal. Like, you tell me to go, I'm going. If I have an idea, I'm going after that idea, that dream, and that's I think is my superpower and what's been helping me so far.
So what's that first property when you got back in? What was that first different type of property you got?
Yeah, so multifamily, inmuebles multifamiliares, commercial multifamily. But I'm thinking it's duplexes, triplexes, and quads, because when you look around, you're thinking there's no way I can buy one of these big ass buildings, right? These big apartment complexes.
Right.
There's no way I can do that. So I said, I'm gonna focus on what I thought was multifamily. I picked up a book. They say the biggest secrets are hidden inside books. And I just
Which book?
It's Multifamily Millions by David Lindahl.
All right. There's the nugget there, guys. We'll get that book written in the comments.
Yeah.
Multifamily Millions by
Life
David
changer.
who?
Lindahl.
David
Lindahl. Yep.
Okay.
So that
Life
book,
changer.
you got it. And that, because you were thinking, okay, duplexes, quads, that's your next phase, babe. We cracked the code. We're going to buy duplexes and multifamily, right? And never did you imagine that the big apartment complexes that you're driving by that have 20, 40, 50, 100, 200 apartments was really going to be your next big chapter of what your business would look like.
Exactly. Never in a million years. Yeah,
so
never in a million years.
what you read the book, then what did you realize? Like, I need to figure this out. Like, and who did you call? What did you do? Like, where did you go? What was next?
So that book taught me that anybody can buy apartment complexes. Because he goes through stories of how he put deals together, and then he explains who sellers are, owners are, people just like me and you. And so, but he also explains that it's a different ball game. It's not the residential real estate as we think of it. Rethink, reimagine, right? And so it's not buying a house and then putting a renter in the house. It's buying a business. So you buy a business, you improve that business, you increase the value of that business. Then you could refi out of that business, or you could just cash out and sell. And for me, like those little ahas, little like Tony Robbins would say, mini breakthroughs.
Yep.
And like, okay, wait a minute. So this is not real estate per se.
So is this in the, the biggest intimidation people have, and probably you had when you see these big complexes? I know I had it. I sold commercial for probably 8 to 10 years, and I focused on more of the retail commercial, like your Blockbuster video stores back in the day, the block buildings. And it's coincidental. Every little small strip center that I came across in New Jersey, by the way, was some owner sitting in Florida on his boat. Everyone owned it, and they were in Florida. So it was a message to me like, hey, we should be owning these things because they're sitting on their boat while these things are operating, right? But did financing, and how do you buy this? How do you get the financing to buy this? Was that the intimidation, or how do people get past that intimidation of, I can't possibly afford something like that?
Yeah, well, keep learning. So you start peeling the layers of the onion and keep reading, finding more books, finding communities. I went to a conference again, series of coincidences. This was late 2018 or so, and I told Lupita, this is it. We're going all in on apartments.
Yep.
It's December, so I'm like, it's December. Now I need to find a conference. I'm like, I'll fly to Alaska. I just need to be around like-minded individuals. Like, I don't know anybody. I don't even know where to find. I don't know anybody in my atmosphere that knows anything about this world, but they exist somewhere. So then I found a conference that was 2 hours away in Tampa. 2 weeks later, so it was amazing. And at that conference, believe it or not, I was introduced to Tony Robbins and his models. And I promised Lupita right there, I'm like, we're going to Date with Destiny. Yep. And that Date with Destiny for me completely rewired everything about me. Yep. And I couldn't have found that without commercial real estate, without learning how to invest. It's like all these series of coincidences.
Yep.
Let me take people there a little bit, how exciting and sexy this is. You spent about 4 hours with me a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And I'll be the first one, guys. I know real estate. I know residential real estate. I'll run circles around people in residential real estate. But this is a space I too shied away from. I didn't know enough. I wasn't knowledgeable, bank owned properties, asset management. You give me that, I'm Gucci. I'm good. But when it came to this foreign space, I used to think, oh, no, that's for maybe an older, experienced person, that's been in the game for a long time, wealthy, elite. And I had to get over that mindset. And I've been spending a lot of time with people in this space. I had the opportunity to spend time with Ben Kinney 2 weeks ago, with Brian Gubernick. And, I have to agree with you, Duamel. You were saying it's not coincidental, right? It's meant to happen. I feel like I'm prepared in this space. We just launched Grid Orlando, which is an investment network. You were one of our first speakers. We also, and this is basically a network of deal making opportunities, right? Outside of the traditional real estate space. And I had to say, I'm going to be committed to learning this, right? So I meet with you. You're talking to me about cost segregation. You're talking to me about single member LLCs. We're talking about, I've had the pleasure of meeting people who are in a completely different wealth bracket. And what I find is they don't have I need to make money issue. They have I need to place my money issue. Where do I place my money issue is where this is so sexy, because it's like, hey, where do I make my investments so then I can get additional, let's say, and I'm going to talk things that some people may not like, tax savings, tax, shielding. And then it's not about, hey, I need to make more money. It's the depreciation, the accelerated depreciation. It's, being able to have an asset that's performing for you, that you can take as many deductions as possible. Well, I'll be honest, I'm entering that space in my life, and I am this kid in a candy store giddy when I hear the books that we should be reading, like even things from Augusta rule, like, are you maximizing your tax savings with your primary residence if you're hosting events, renting it back to your space? Like all these conversations, the conversations are different, but you cannot have these conversations if you do not enter the room. So for me, what I thought was really cool is that when you and I were talking and you're, going everything like, B, what are you doing to like, maximize your tax savings and this and that? I'm like, dude, I'm living half the time in Puerto Rico, but there are alternative ways, right? And it's like, oh, you're not maximizing your opportunities here. Let's talk about buying buildings. Let's talk about buying, multifamily. Let's talk about the tax benefits. And, it's so much deeper that people just think, oh, I want to buy an apartment complex. It's a different conversation. And I want to take us there, because I'm over here, like, I have pictures of what you did on the dry erase board. And I'm like, okay, like, what books am I reading now? But then I met with you, then I go spend time with Ben, and then I spend time with Brian, and we're talking about, like, come to our mastermind where we're talking nothing about these we're talking about like all things strategies on how to make your money work for you. And you said something to me, it was like, the brick and mortar of real estate is not what is so sexy. It's the depreciation, and it's the business of, being able to, and of course we're talking about in other conversations, affordable housing and all that, but like improvements that can justify a higher increase rate. I mean, rental, that's a business, and all these things that a lot of times we're so busy in the grind, we don't take time to learn how our money can work for us. And this is the part that I'll be the first one, especially for anyone who's listening, like, it's our relationship with wealth, it's our relationship with money that keeps us from growing, because we just don't have a relationship with it. So if you can actually hang around people, like I'm super blessed to hang around with friends like you that like give me those aha moments, like you said, Tony Robbins breakthroughs, where I'm like, oh my, I might not have to work as hard. Like my money can work a little harder for me, and it's exciting to know that this is more than just buying a building. This is about strategies that can help build generational wealth for your grandchildren that do not exist today. And 100%. I tell people, ladies, and listen, I like good shoes. I said this at my event the other day. I like good bags, but we got to stop buying bags and shoes and start buying buildings, because we're going to own the block.
That's right.
Okay.
Start playing Monopoly in real life, baby.
Yeah. Right. And I'm okay with Baltic Avenue. I'm okay with, all those, Oriental Avenue. I used to play Monopoly. I'm like, I'll take that block right there. You got to land on there every time you pass go.
That's right.
So what are the odds? But here's the thing, guys, we've got to stop being so emotional with these decisions and start being more strategic in business and forget about the HGTV. I want to be with the guys like Jeff said, that while he was selling commercial, the owners were all on your yacht in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah. And you just got to start having that mindset shift, right? That you just mentioned, and start learning so that you could be the person who also is able to introduce the opportunity. So Duamel, you learned it. Give us some podcasts people should be listening to. What are some of the first steps? And then Jeff?
I want to piggyback on something that you said, because all of the secrets that are contained inside of these beautiful buildings, we have short-term capital gains and long-term capital gains. And guys, I am not a tax advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm a retired engineer. I'm a full-time real estate investor, but short-term capital gains, the fix and flips, that gets taxed at a much higher tax bracket than all the money that I'm getting from all my rents and all my investors are getting from all our rents. And that we're now taking that spendable cash and it's tax deferred. So all the cash flow that our investors are getting monthly, it's tax deferred. So now you can buy your shoes with this passive income. Yeah. I've heard a lot of flippers talk about, they're buying their toys or living their lifestyle off of flips. But dude, that money, you're paying double the tax bracket that I am for the same money.
Yep.
And
Are these purchases? A lot of people may not know the term in residential, but are these through syndications? These purchases, or are they just coming through just groups of investors together? Like, what's the process of this?
Yeah, 100% syndication. The beauty of syndication, and I implore all our real estate professionals to look into this. Yep. But you're making bank selling houses. That money, all that profit that you're getting, you should be putting it into these buildings. Why? Because it'll pay you back 15 to 20% annually on average. Mm-hmm. And it could pay your lifestyle, or you can just grow that nest egg. And the beautiful thing is that with a syndication, we create an entity structure that the investors are part of, and they all together with 20, 30, 40 investors, we pool this capital together and buy this building. So now all of these investors are all owners. The beauty of that syndication model is that the investors are owners. Yep. They truly are owners. You own this piece of real estate. It's yours. Yep. A small percentage, of course, but you are a true owner. That means you get the benefits. That means you do get these long-term capital gains when we sell in 3 to 5 years. And you would have been getting all this cash flow year over year, direct deposited, just dripped right into your bank account every month. And the other beautiful part of this is that investment is safe. It's boring, right? It's not as sexy as like a Bitcoin, but it's also not as volatile. Bitcoin is, dipping a little bit right now, and not disparaging Bitcoin. Just this isn't volatile. This is a simple graphical, formula, and it's just steady growing.
So let's answer a couple quick questions, because I know time's going to tick by, and I think our audience would want to hear a couple of these, the fears of getting involved in this. So we do syndication. There's 20 investors. My first fear, and I've been part of these, but I'm playing if I was a person who's never gotten into this, is, well, there's 20 people. Who's in charge? How do I know who's in charge of my money? Are they all going to be decision makers? Right. So
yeah, they all are. All 20 people are decision makers.
Yeah.
Just teasing.
I know.
Yeah. In the syndication, the structure of a syndication is limited partners, which is the passive investors, don't have a vote. They invest their capital so that the general partners, which is the operating managers, do the work. And that's what we specialize in. We specialize in identifying undervalued properties, undervalued markets, grabbing these properties, acquiring them, improving them, and returning capital to our investors. So the investors don't do any work, man. And that's the beauty is go sell houses. Realtors that are watching, go sell houses. I have some athletes, like go get that next contract, go score those touchdowns, break that track and field record, artist, go make that hit record. Let the capital grow over here in this building, safe, not in the bank, or the bank's doing fractional lending and giving you nothing for that, and it's being eaten away by inflation.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't have to get that. I have a clogged toilet in the middle of the night call. That's not what I'm doing with the multifamily.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
I don't even get that call.
I know, it's a great.
We got people in place.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's where there has to be another mindset shift, the control of, the limited mindset, and believe like, oh, I need to be in control of everything. Like me, I'm at a point in my life, my time is my freedom. If I can have my money working for me and I get more time to do the things that I absolutely love, yeah, I'm all for it. And I also am a believer in passive income. And I'm also a believer I rather own 5% of a lot of things than 100% of one thing. So when you can realize that, look, if you're out there, you're making $200,000 to $300,000 a year in real estate, 400. Some of you guys are making 7 figures. Some of you guys are making 6 figures in the mid. Like, what are you really doing to set yourself up for success rather than just buying one property at a time? Think about, maybe diversifying yourself and saying, look, I got about 50 to 100 to $150,000. I want to own the building too. I want to own that 200 unit building or that 50 unit building with other like-minded people who also, are similar. And then we're bringing more opportunities together because now we're cash flowing, right? Now we're cash flowing and the business is working for us. I know some of y'all try to avoid taxes or maybe don't even file. Like, there's a way that you could actually lower your tax bracket by doing, making these type 100%. Of investments. And it's by having these type of conversations. Because I know some of y'all be scrambling. Me too. I used to be that until I got into the right rooms with great coaches and great mentors. And it does writing that check to where it's to be an owner in a building versus that tax liability, which we still all have tax liabilities, but if you could reduce it, and you could build wealth, that's pretty awesome. And I just invite more people to think like that. Hopefully, that's the first step for a lot of people.
I love the fact that it's, we're not doing the typical landlord work that so many people are getting.
Exactly.
I'm still living that world a little bit too, is you don't want to deal with that fixing stuff or the roof needs repaired, or you're getting those phone calls from, a tenant that's got an issue. Not that we can't always avoid that, but in this type of platform, it's so different. There's people that do it for you. Like, I'm just worried about the investment. I go back to making more money. Like, I go make more money. So I get it.
And Jeff, like Veronica mentioned the word wealth and wealthy people. This is what the wealthy have been doing for centuries. For centuries, it's been reserved for the privileged, but now we know the secret.
Yep.
And like, change the way you think. Like, think about it. This is how they invest in real estate. They are investing in real estate. So we must do the same thing. So we can participate in this America's wealth game. Do the same thing.
Gotcha.
And that's what I'm inviting. I'm inviting everybody listening, everybody watching to learn more. Obviously we'd love for you to invest with us, but definitely learn more.
And just tell us who us is. Let's give me the formal name. Let's just talk. What's your company? Just what's your official name?
1015 Capital. That's who we are. We're a really cool group of people. We like to have fun. We like to play hard, but we understand we're really smart individuals. Almost everyone on our team is an engineer. We have a lot of finance people as well, but for the most part, this is what we do full time. We are inviting people like yourselves, to rethink and reimagine how to invest. What are real estate investments? And then to like Veronica said about the control.
Yeah.
And real quick, so because we try to keep to the integrity of the show and keep the show to about 30-35 minutes, and before we wrap up, is what projects and opportunities do you have right now on, like, would you say like, hey, listen, you're looking to move your money, you're looking to be involved in this, we have X amount of projects that are available, anywhere from 50,000 to 250,000. What do you got for us? For anybody who's listening and say, look, I want to explore this.
Yeah, for sure. We have, like I said, we have deal flow. We have deals under contract. We have deals coming, all off market. Like I mentioned early on, we pride ourselves in being able to get these hidden gems. A lot of the big guys look at because we love secondary, tertiary markets, and a lot of the big guys, the big power players, they're looking for these certain big check marks, and these secondary, tertiary markets don't have those check marks. So we're finding these awesome undervalued properties. Yeah. And our typical investment opportunity starts at $50K. Anywhere from $50K to $1 million is the typical investments. Depend on the deal. The bigger the deal, sometimes it's a little bit higher barrier of entry, maybe $100K, but that's about the entry for one of our deals. But yeah, we have deals coming up, so hit us up, get to know us,
and then you send us a profile of the property and the returns. And so if I had interest, I got 50
executive summaries, everything.
Send me the whole package. We make decisions. We get on the phone.
We even do webinars for every property that we do.
Yeah,
we'll put a webinar together so everybody can meet the team and investors can ask real life questions in front of other investors. Yeah, those are really good platforms.
Awesome. Well, I think there's a whole new world out there. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and we're gonna make sure that we put Duamel's contact information in the comments, and they have everything from executive summaries as to the projects that they have available. You can learn a little bit more about them. Duamel, give us one last nugget. What podcast should people be listening to? And is there any other book that you would recommend?
Sure. And so we are freely promoting other podcasts.
Yes,
I have to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying, we don't care. Listen, we're so abundant. We're so abundant.
I love it.
Here.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yeah, we don't care.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. The pie is literally infinite. I was asked. We're bringing in new team members, and I had a question because just like you, Vera, I'm always looking, and I know you do too, Jeff. I was looking for the best of the best. So I'm out there talking to people that I know are executives or directors at companies and bringing them on to 1015 Capital. And one of them asked me the other day is, but you're slicing off a piece of the pie. I'm like, no, dude, like that's not it. That's not it at all. Like if the pie, if you truly believe that the pie is infinite, then there are no slices. It's like Bob Marley talked about. Bob Marley talked about wealth being like water in the ocean. Go get buckets full. You get your buckets full. The ocean didn't all of a sudden shrink, right?
Right.
And so that's the the mindset that we have around that. So abundance. A friend of mine, his name is Whitney Sewell. He has a podcast called The Lifetime. I think it's called The Lifetime Cash Flow or something like that. Lifetime, but it's Whitney Sewell. He has a daily podcast. Okay. That thing is awesome. He is a phenomenal guy as well. He has an awesome cause. But that's an awesome podcast. Another one is Michael Blank, Blank. It's blank, but it's pronounced Blanc. He's got an awesome podcast as well. As far as books, the book that I just finished, it's somewhere on here. The book I just finished. That really
it's okay.
No, it's this guy right here.
Oh, there it is.
Big Money Energy by Ryan Serhant. Okay, where he's pretty popular.
That guy does a few things.
I have one last thing as we wrap up, because I know where we're past time, is I did not give you an opportunity to share your mission. And in less than 2 minutes, I need you to share why you're so passionate, and because your mission is very important to bridge the gap, to shorten the gap of something that you noticed in this space. And I'm very passionate about. Go.
Yeah. So Forbes, they did a study in 2017, and it showed that by 2050, Black and Latino households are going to have negative net worth. And one thing that we struggle with in our communities is having self-confidence, having self-awareness, having just knowledge in general around wealth. So I believe that that trend is happening because we are in our communities, we're afraid to talk about exactly what we just talked about here in the show. And so it's my mission to disturb that trend. And why is that powerful to me? Because 2050 is my lifetime, is our lifetime. It's my kids. I've got 2 kids. I've got nieces and nephews. You know, I don't want them to be a statistic. And then I have neighbors, and then you start branching out and you realize, man, we need to wake some of these people up and open up these investment opportunities and bring them to the doorstep. Say, look, this is what the wealthy are doing. Let's not fall behind. Let's join. Let's disrupt the game, because when you look around, a lot of people do not look like us, but we can change that. And let's just disrupt the game together. Let's jump in and make that impact.
Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, I could get behind that. I can get behind that. Let's disrupt the game. Let's change that statistic that Forbes said that Black and brown will have negative net worth. Instead of that, let's make sure that we're able to increase our net worth and talk more about wealth and have more diversity in ownership of commercial wealth, buildings, you name it. So I love this. Thank you so much for being a part of today's show. Relaunch Live is all about bringing inspiring leaders who help you reimagine, rethink, and be re-inspired, all things real estate, no matter what. So Jeff, what do you think? We got this one right?
You said you wrapped it up perfectly. I'm excited about diving into more stuff. I appreciate you being here, Duamel.
Thank you, Jeff.
And until the next show, we'll see you guys. If you want to follow us, hit us up on Apple, Spotify, Google Play. We are all over the place, especially streaming on YouTube Live now too. And please invite some of your guests and friends to join us next time. Thank you, guys.
Love it. If you love this episode, share it. We'll see you on the next one.
You've been listening to the Relaunch Live Podcast, helping you rethink, reimagine, and be re-inspired in your life and business. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. Find the show on Apple, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. See you next time.